do you remember a dispute between Jennifer Haselberger and Kevin McDonough about whether these images on this computer were illegal and child porn and thus a form of sexual abuse?
I do remember there was an argument, yes.
Tell us about that argument, what you heard and what you did responsive to it.
Well, Jennifer maintained that the images were those of child pornography, and Father McDonough said they were not. And we had at the time, the investigation that was done with the retired policeman indicating that these were borderline. And so there was a dispute, obviously, about the nature of these images.
And Kevin McDonough took the position that 60% of the images are created by law enforcement, and because he had not been caught, he had not been guilty. And he made that case to you, didn't he?
I don't recall that at all, no.
He also claimed that they may have been pop-up images and innocently then on that computer. Do you remember that?
Subsequent to this, yes, I remember that.
Jennifer Haselberger disputed that vigorously, did she not?
I believe she did.
And she went to the length to even copy some of those images and put them on your desk, didn't she?
Those were the same images, I believe, that you referred to before.
How many images?
I think there were only 3 that I recall.
And she told you that she had showed those to McDonough, and he ordered her to put them back in the archive, didn't she?
I believe she did, yes.
And she was upset about that.
I believe she was, yes.
And she wanted you to take action, didn't she?
I believe she did, yes.
And you chose not to, didn't you?
Well, I didn't think they were child pornography.
She also urged you to report to law enforcement what those images were and what the Archdiocese knew and included in Shelley's file, including the earlier stuff, correct?
I don't recall that.
Okay, I'll show you Exhibit 45.
Yes.
And I'll direct your attention to 45, which is dated February 8th, 2013. It's to you from her. Fifth paragraph down. She writes, I would also like to reiterate that I think all of this information should be turned over to law enforcement for their determination in hopes of avoiding prosecution for you and your staff by offering an affirmative defense. She wrote that to you, didn't she?
She did.
And then she states, finally, I am attaching a memo written by Father McDonough when he made a similar assessment of Father Waymeyer, his conclusion which Father Laird supported. In other words, she's saying, don't make the same mistake here that you made with Waymeyer. Is that the way you read this?
Objection. It's assuming facts, not in evidence. It's not what the memo says.
As you recall, is that the way you read it?
No.
You didn't turn this over because you were worried that you were in possession and you could be prosecuted.
That's not true. I didn't turn it over because I didn't think it was child pornography.
So what training do you have in the area of what is and isn't child pornography?
Not very much.
Well, what training at all?
None.
Okay.